You're listening to the Archaeology Podcast Network.
You have my sword.
And you have my bow.
And my trowel.
Hi, you're listening to episode 52 of And My Trowel, where we look at the fantastic side of archaeology and the archaeological side of fantasy. I'm Tilly.
And I'm Ash.
And today we are going to continue our discussion all about fantastical graffiti or graffito, coming from the word graffito, which is to carve into a wall, which I just learned last episode, with our guest, Jona Schlegal. So welcome back, Jona.
Hi, nice to be back.
Okay, so let's remind everyone why we have Jona here with us today.
Yes.
The Karnithril Collegium of Wall Law, which is a mouthful, has summoned
wall law is like one of the most horrible things.
Wall law.
Anyway, sorry.
It does literally sound like that. Has summoned us with an urgent request. In the ancient ruins of the Thar-Vael, a forgotten city whose walls were once covered in mystical graffiti, the sigils are mysteriously disappearing, not crumbling, but literally fading from existence as if they were erased from time itself. And they need our help to research and document them before they disappear.
Yeah, which I guess the main question is, how do we even start with a project to study graffiti? And as we learnt last episode, we have the perfect guest here to help us because Jona has a lot of experience with documenting a vast array of different layers of graffiti. So maybe we can go into that in a bit more detail, Jona. So what kind of research can you actually do on graffiti?
So yeah, like the first thing we have to do is establish a baseline. So actually define what graffiti is, because it can be rock art, it can be medieval, historical graffiti, it can be also considered petroglyphs. So if you have like the larger scope of what would entail as graffiti, then yeah, you can actually do quite a lot of research on that. If we only focus on like contemporary, like graffiti writing, so like where it's more like this culture from the 1960s from the US, where you write your name on a wall in like different stylistic manners.
Tag,
then,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a tag?
Yeah, tags.
Look at me,
throw
being down
ups,
with the kids.
yeah.
I'm so hip.
I just can't wait for your girls to listen to this in like 10 years' time and absolutely cringe.
Sorry, yes, carry on.
Yeah, so we can actually research probably the typology, stylistic development, do a material analysis, like what spray can was used or what color type. And naturally also the authorship. So that's always also not so easy because, if you're spraying in even in a sanctioned situation, then you maybe still don't want to show like
who you actually are.
Unless you're banned.
Yeah, I mean, you still want to get up, become famous. But yeah, it's often hidden so that the police cannot really track you and connect you to that person unless they find you in the act of doing it.
Okay. It's more like a sort of pen name rather than an actual link to yourself.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, it also becomes a nickname, kind of, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so do the artists know each other by their styles and then their kind of tag name as well?
Yes.
Like, such and such
yes,
has
I
been here.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you start looking at this graffiti writing, you really are then also able to see different authors. Yeah, and then you also have the possibility to do spatial or temporal analysis. So if the graffito is doing political events, there might be an uproar and in the graffiti scene. So graffitists then are spraying certain things out.
Oh, so you can find out their political alignment and stuff as well. Yeah, that's so interesting.
the Ukraine flag was
right,
or still is a symbol, or like during COVID times, there started to be puns on like toilet paper shortage or wearing masks. So yeah.
And then you find that S that everyone used to draw onto their notebooks.
Oh my
and
gosh,
you know
that
for a
S.
fact.
They're a 90s kid.
Yeah, you're a 90s kid. you grew up in the early 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you also have like the spatial component. So does a specific location call for like a specific type of drawing your graffito? So like I saw one artist who also incorporated the ground. So he started with a wall and then incorporated the ground, and you actually were only able to see the kind of like distorted looking thing from the front, from like a specific angle.
Oh, like those street art things where you have to look through a camera to be able to see the 3D-ness and stuff.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So it changes perspective where you're standing.
Depending on where you're standing.
Yeah.
Very cool. Do you have like areas where then it's more, is there like a hierarchy between like graffiti artists? So would you have like one area where you know like, oh, this is like the upper echelon of the graffiti sphere, like only the top artists are allowed to kind of tag here or do the like apply an art piece here? Or is it kind of free for all no matter where it is?
So the graffiti writer, so they call themselves writer because they're, writing their name.
Okay.
They have kind of some unwritten codes. So like if you cover a piece, then you have to cover it completely. So you cannot let it peek through, because this is then respect. Like you show your respect to the writer you're covering.
Oh, interesting.
And at the Donaukanal, there was actually there was a region which felt kind of like, okay, here's a trainings area.
Okay. That's the part of Ankh-Morpork with the lower class graffiti and worse class of rubbish. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. And then, you had, but still, like you were not cornered. Like you could have just started anywhere, but there were definitely zones where more like pieces, so like beautiful colors with background, with stylings, and then something that I personally call scribbles, even though I didn't call it that in our graffiti thesaurus because it's not a good term.
Name,
but it felt, for me, these were really cutesy things, like person just walking by or being bored or waiting for someone and just like scribbling a figure onto the wall. Yeah. So it had nothing to do with writing, but was just a symbol, like the S one, the S symbol, or like a heart, or
like doodling, doodling.
Yeah. Like who hasn't wrote on a toilet wall? Like I have.
Yes.
Like, hello, I was here.
Or the table in a school. Yeah.
See, I was a good girl.
Oh God, live a little. Well, like I was thinking, there must be a scale of graffiti, like you were talking about there, because I mean, I think of there's one particular, I would say, a piece of graffiti. Look at me using that in context.
Very nice.
I hope I did the right. That like I used to go past quite a lot, and it was on the M8. And if anyone has ever been going from Glasgow to Edinburgh on the M8, there is one particular sign, and it literally just says, "The earth is flat," right? And it's just graffitied into it. And I think everyone knows it because it's like the only piece of graffiti on the M8.
I love that no one's removed it either.
No one's removed it. The earth is flat. That's what it says. Like, and I don't necessarily believe that message, but then you look at that, and then you look at some of the absolutely amazing artwork that you have around cities. Yeah. And you're talking about how there's like a culture around it, and how you must cover up someone else's art piece because that's like a sign of respect and stuff. So there must be a level of, there's just someone, scrolling something, like you said, the scribble, but still has a message and a meaning. But is it as effective as art. Do you know what I mean? But it still
no one's
seeps into
covered
like
up that message.
Totally.
no one's covered up that message.
Yeah,
And
so
every
we
time I go past
actually
it, I still see it. The earth is flat. Like,
yeah, in the project we actually also thought about that and kind of like divided our graffiti definition into 3 parts. So you have graffiti as an activity, graffiti as an object, and graffiti as a style. And in this graffiti as style, there's obviously like street art, and writing falls into that a lot because they're recognizable styles. Whereas something like the earth is flat is more like an activity. Like there's the intention of making a mark behind it and conveying a message rather than having like a stylistic idea.
So it's like verb, noun, adjective. Like the act of doing, the act of doing it, the thing itself, a descriptive version of the thing.
and did you ever find that the people that maybe were just doing it as an act, did they ever cross the boundary of someone else's style?
Good question.
Like, did they ever write over someone without realizing they had caused a faux pas, you know?
Totally, because they're not, I think they're not part of the graffiti writing culture movement. So they're just, let's say, laymen in regards to the writing movement. So yeah, I think there's a lot of overstepping there, like, because you are not doing it as a, like, I feel with the graffiti writing movement, there's a lot of, training and being inspired by typography. So wanting to learn how different letters can be weighed or can be styled. Whereas if you have a message like calling for a protest or, just the Mockingjay symbol, you want to convey the message and the style is not that interesting to you. And you also probably don't have the intention to learn how to handle a spray can well, because it's not that easy.
No, I've tried. It's hard.
Yeah. I also did on a legal wall.
Oh, well, I won't say where I tried. But for you, that must cause a number of challenges. It seems like to analyze this and to break it down, you really had to go through quite a lot of effort to figure it all out and start to catalog these.
Totally, yes. And the project is sadly over. It was only 2 years, but it was really cool. And I still keep a log of graffiti, like when I go around in the city.
Just in case.
I take a lot of pictures of like graffiti which is breaking or on the edge of what I define a graffito. So like these, cat is missing. That could also be considered a graffito.
Yeah.
Because it's also only there for a temporal purpose, temporal period, and communicates something. It's in a public open space. So yeah, it's really interesting to go about your daily walk in the city and try to look out for these things.
Is graffiti meant to be ephemeral? Is it meant to disappear?
I don't know if that's an intention. I would rather say it's like the life of the graffito. Like it's just, it's often created on a surface where you don't know how other people are going to react to it.
Yeah, it's part of its life way. I like that.
Yeah. When we talked to some graffiti writers, they said for them it's important to create the graffito, like the act itself, and then they need to detach themselves immediately because they know in an hour someone else could come by and cover their piece that they just created.
Yeah, gosh, I could not deal with that as a creator, as someone who makes themselves. Anyone touches my candles at a market, I get really upset. Especially if they sneeze on them, I'm like, so I couldn't even imagine putting all that time and effort into something and then it being gone.
Although that's like all of these sort of street artists, like you have those sand ones, the sand sculptures and stuff as well, which are gorgeous, and they're not even they're not even for a day sometimes because they just disappear.
It's like, have you seen, there's a meme, there was this guy who had graffitied and was like, council will need to, it literally just said like, council will need to clean this up now, and then someone comes along and does it, whitewashes it over it, and then he moves it along and he's like, what about here? And the council comes along and does it again. And he says, well, what about here? Are you going to come back for this one? And he does the same, and it keeps going around and round and round. The council guy is just like, oh, I'm so sad.
Which would be for a purpose, I guess, right?
Yeah, to mess with the council.
There was actually a graffiti writer who tagged his name in a specific shape, knowing that the people would only cover the tag and then thereby create a new shape. So it was often like a question mark.
Oh, yeah,
it was often a question mark.
I was thinking something else.
Get your mind out of the gutter and onto the wall, Ash. Oh, look at that for me.
That's what I would do if I was a graffiti writer. I would definitely do that just to mess with people.
Yeah, I also found a graffito so it was on a wooden bench originally and scraped off, and someone wrote over this blanked space where the wood was like,
freshly
freshly shaved off from the graffito. Yeah, nice. Now you destroyed a nice bench because you wanted to get rid of a political message.
Which, so I mean, you mentioned that the project is over now, but what was sort of, if you're allowed to say, your kind of favorite, or I guess the most interesting result from the project, or the most interesting kind of example that you documented during the project?
I mean, for me, it was interesting that I was so curious. It was just a lot of fun to dive into the graffiti definition, and I actually bought one for you. It just represents kind of like how research also changes over time.
Yeah.
So basically, the quote is from a guy, Dundas, from the 1962. I would just summarize it. Basically, he associated graffiti writing in a latrinalia, so a toilet, done by a man, like that kind of acts. So there's some relationship for him between the act of writing on a wall and playing with feces.
Okay.
And
we had one of those at school as well.
And that is kind of like leads him to the belief that the male is actually jealous of the woman of giving birth.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was really interesting. I don't know what to do with it, but it's kind of like
you'll have to send us the full quote and we'll put it in the show notes, so if anyone wants.
Okay. I kind of want to do a test now to see if I could replicate some graffiti. Maybe not that graffiti, but if I could replicate some graffiti.
Right. I've actually, well, as I said, I've never really done like proper graffiti. There's that storeroom down in the cellar that needs repainting anyway.
Oh, you want to have a go?
Yeah, why not? Come on, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. Well, that was quite fun.
I still maintain that looked nothing like a chicken.
It was abstract, okay? It was an abstract chicken. Right, anyway, let's get back to business. So how are we going to complete this quest of ours? So, I mean, I guess the first question is, what tools or sort of approaches or methods or those kinds of things do you actually need to study graffiti from a practical standpoint? Because, I mean, we talked about looking at the temporal thing, the placement, the location, the style, but how do we actually record it? What tools do you usually use?
So we used a full frame Nikon camera with a fixed lens because we wanted to get high resolution images with a ground sampling distance of about or below 1 millimeter.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
basically, yeah, it was the PI of the project, Gert Verhoeven. He is well versed in the area of, or we call it image-based modeling.
Mhm.
I think you refer to it more as photogrammetry.
Yeah. It's all coming together.
It is.
Yeah. So, and on this camera, we actually have attached a GNSS receiver for the geolocation.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
the camera knows where it is, but also on top of that, it knows it should have like a, if you are photographing on a specific angle or in portrait mode. So this receiver kind of not only tracks your location, but also the angle the camera shoots at. So you are way quicker with calculating your 3D model if you have this information already.
That's very cool. Yeah.
That sounds very fancy. I don't know I think we've spoken about this in a previous episode, Ash, that what is the fantastical equivalent of a camera?
It's definitely like a wizard's staff. That's what I think.
Right. I mean, they have cameras in...
Yeah. I just wanted also to say in the Discworld,
exactly.
they have these little gnomes or something drawing pictures.
Yes. Draw things, yes. And they draw only what they see, so they can't be bribed to...
Yeah.
Oh, to change it. I see.
It. And that's the main job of the iconographer or the photographer, is to feed the imps so that they can still be taking pictures. True. So, I mean, we could use that as well. So we could use a combination of the imps, and then we'd have to get special imps that can actually do all of the things with like knowing where they are and knowing the angle.
Some techie imps.
Imps, yeah. Technological imps.
Yeah, I think we could get that. That's fine.
Probably get that. Okay. So fancy camera. To summarize. And then
it's super fancy camera.
And then you're making then sort of 3D models of these things. How is that getting stored, or where is that kind of going?
Yeah, I mean, what you also would need, because we are talking about colors in contemporary graffiti. So what we did was using a color checker. Mm-hmm. So you take one picture with a color checker to just have like the color information, and can then do mathematical calculation to adjust all the images and get kind of like close to the true color, which was sprayed on. And we also used a spectrometer, so recording the lighting conditions, sorry.
Of course.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it must be difficult when you're outside to take a picture in exactly the same lighting conditions.
Yeah.
And normally if you're on an excavation, you probably, have a kind of like shade thrower.
Or someone holding a towel.
Your big jacket open, and then you get three people to line up around you. For the best.
Yeah.
So like with these contemporary graffiti, like a piece, it's way too big to like.
Yeah, you get
not enough jackets.
Yeah,
because you could get a volunteer group together to just hold their big jackets open.
We could get a dragon to like stand there and use their wings.
Oh yeah, a dragon. So simple. We'll get a dragon.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I think one owes me a favor, so that's fine.
Okay, sorted.
Dragon tick.
And then what we also did is we used an app, basically ArcGIS field maps, to record what graffiti we documented when and where it was, because we were like 3 different people recording, so we had to keep us informed so to not have duplicates.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair enough. My goodness. Okay, so it's very high tech. And are these results available, like, is the database available for people to view, or is it being kind of kept for further research?
The full, I'm actually not sure. I think it should be now all uploaded, like all the pictures we took, which are so many.
Yeah.
They are available with like a proper licensing as well. in the archive, which is connected to the Austrian Center for Digital Humanities and Cultural Heritage.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you can definitely find it online. And yeah, if you go to the projectindigo.org website, you can read up on all the stuff that we did in the project.
Very cool. Yeah, because we need to make sure we do that as well, right, Ash? We need to be able to create the, Thar-Vael initiative website or something, or whatever the website equivalent
Not a
is.
website. It's definitely a pigeon post of some
Pigeon
kind.
post. If we get the spiders involved, we might be able to make a website.
That's so silly, and I love it. I was like, that's brilliant. Yeah, the website for Websters. Oh my God, we have a Webster.
True, Chris Webster, who is our producer.
Yeah, he can read the website for us. He's not a big spider.
Or is he? Oh, no one knows.
Oh, gosh.
So, descending into madness. But I'm curious, Jona, where do you start? So did you start with the graffiti that maybe was at risk of being changed, or maybe be like, obviously at our site, we have disappearing graffitis. So do you think we should start at the point where we think, oh, this one might disappear?
Might crumble soon.
Might crumble.
So what we actually did, we first defined the area and then did a total coverage survey. So basically image-based modeling everything. Like, because we want to also keep the graffito in its original environment, kind of. Mm-hmm. The idea was to create a 3D model of the Danube Canal where you can then walk through and change the temporality on any point there and see what graffitis...
See the build-up. Oh, that's so
cool. Yeah. Maybe we should do that. That sounds fun.
But then when we do it,
like, if you have disappearing graffiti, then maybe that's also worth, doing like a whole survey of the area and see where what graffiti appears and how long it stays on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that would be cool. Because then we can kind of figure out why.
Disappearance. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And maybe you can also see like specific locations are quicker to disappear.
Or particular symbols or signs. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes. Hang on.
So many things.
Down. Yes.
Yeah. I'm already noting all of this down. Don't worry.
Good. Okay. Excellent. I'm glad someone's on top of things.
I've got 3 pages of notes.
Excellent. Wonderful.
Yeah. So like there was a lot of post-processing with the data because one of my colleagues, he did like a semi-automatic graffiti cutout with like for the model. So yeah, basically only the graffito itself was then present and all the area was cut out because we already had the total coverage due to the first
like
survey.
Background remover kind of thing.
Yeah, and we just wanted to have the texture because the graffiti are all flat. Mm-hmm. So we just wanted to switch out the texture. So it was important to cut around the graffiti and kind of do a change detection. Yeah, that's what he did. So semi-automatic change detection. Yeah.
Which
you can use that for everything. Like
right?
Yeah.
I'm curious because what time frame was this project taking place again, did you say?
2 years.
Wow.
And then, I mean, I'm just thinking, even in the last year, and all of those kinds of things have like improved and changed things so much. Did you see that during the project that was already having like a big effect on how things were being processed and stuff? Or do you think that now it would be done differently?
No, I don't think so. It's like, I mean, the change detection, maybe it's kind of like still magic to me. I mean, I listened to the talks and read the papers and stuff, but I just never got into that area so much.
Yeah. I mean, in this world, it is magic, so
Yeah,
yeah, totally. So basically it's detecting where a new graffito appeared based on all the images that were, or the 3D models that were generated with the texture, so the texture map. But yeah, there was, I guess, a lot of like error and trial, and just I'm not so sure how AI would come in there and help out, because it's already like there is an algorithm behind it
We can't really
that does a
improve it.
classification
Can't improve it more.
process,
Yeah.
which just isn't like these LLMs, so the large language model. They're also going about statistics, right? So this is
right. Okay. Yeah.
then also like, yeah, I cannot really explain it
That's
in
fine.
an
I went
audio
off
format.
I'm fully aware I came at
Totally
you
does that.
with like a random question that just occurred to me. It's my speciality.
Like, what about AI?
Let me just come completely out of the ballpark. Yeah. So, but no, that's really interesting. That it was already indeed like all the algorithms were already set and everything. So, yeah, no, good to know. Good to know.
I would be worried about like taking a photo, like doing all the work, and then coming back and then realizing somebody else had graffiti. I mean, I know it's the aim of the project,
It's the point.
but then someone had graffitied over the bit that I just started photographing. I'd be like, oh.
No!
But then that's like the whole point, isn't it? So really, you shouldn't be mad at that. But me and my little brain probably would be.
Yes.
I'd be like, oh, I just got to that point.
It would rather be like, oh, so you're a graffitist. That's really cool. We are a project that records graffiti. So
Join us.
like, keep us informed about your
Here's my
newest
card.
graffiti. Yeah, basically.
I think just to summarize then, I think we've got a good like way to go forward with the project then. So we need to get a dragon to hold their wings up to avoid like sun distortion. We need wizards and imps with iconographers to create all these different technical things. We need to make sure that we find a big spider who can create a website for us, to be able to share the whole database and everything. Yeah, okay.
Make sure we have someone who knows color as well, so we
Yes.
can make sure that the color's right. Yeah.
Color perception. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can probably find some sort of chameleon or something who can like magically do
A
some
magic chameleon.
a magic chameleon who can be like, yes, that is this, to 10 decimal points, like number section or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
And maybe it would be good to have someone who's like good at like storage, like structuring stuff, because then the spider, can have probably an easier job to showcase everything if all the data is structured nice and
we need a hoarder.
Store it
we need
nice.
a hoarder. We'll get some dwarves and trolls involved who can like create some nice caverns and things, and
that could be the system, the computer.
Yeah, underground, and then we're back in the dystopian universe. It's all one big.
There's just the Mockingjay symbol
big
right in the back.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Okay, great. Well, I thank you so much for sharing your insight. So I guess a sort of final kind of wrap up would be if other people want to get involved in kind of this line of research, or in kind of not necessarily illustration, but kind of visual storytelling and that kind of side of things, what advice would you give them? What do you wish you'd know when you first started this project or first started doing your visualizations and things that you would want to share?
Yeah, just do it and put yourself out there, basically. Just try to create a portfolio. So draw something that you think is good for a project that you and a client that you envision, and go from there. Like, fill up your portfolio, put yourself out there, and reach out and ask other people for their feedback.
Yes. Yeah. It's always important. I feel like that's always the scariest thing.
It is putting yourself out there, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
definitely,
it could work. Which, on that note, do you has your networking reaped rewards? Do you have any interesting projects or anything that are coming up that you want to share?
Yeah, so I actually want to share and talk about the Past Forward Hub.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's the passforwardhub.com. And it is kind of an initiative of me and 2 other female archaeologists who want to kind of create a more sustainable career path in archaeology for all kind of people in their career. So early archaeologists in the research, professors and academics and senior researchers, but also for those outside of academia, so in commercial archaeology and freelancing. So yeah, that started kind of like as a gathering of people who were trying to figure out what freelancing in archaeology actually means and finding a community. And we want to make that bigger. And we are going to do a presentation also at the EAA.
Cool.
Way.
That's nice.
Yeah. So yeah, come join us there or reach out and find the current progress of the project on our website.
Yeah, amazing. That sounds really cool. That sounds like something that we should get involved with, Ash.
I know.
Absolutely, yes. Feel free. We wanted to be a community space, so exchanging ideas and stories, but also we want to host events and all that nice stuff.
Very cool.
All archaeology.
No, that's an awesome initiative.
We always need more community in archaeology. 100%.
Yes, we really do.
Yeah,
we really
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in what I do, so I share my work online on Arch Inc. on Instagram. And you can also find what I do on my website, jonaschlegal.com or archinc.com. And I do a bunch stuff of visual science communication.
Which is very, very cool. I would highly recommend subscribing to the newsletter because it's got fun things coming every time. I'm amazed that you put so much effort into it. I'm definitely not the same with my newsletter. Like it was really good. I was like, oh my goodness, she's actually like written a whole thing for it. Like I just do like, here's a link to this. So yes, I would highly recommend if you want to get some nice mail that looks pretty and is also very fun and informative, definitely subscribe to Jona's newsletter. Because
I try to tackle a little bit of biases in archaeological illustrations and visuals generally.
Yeah,
amazing.
So that's my current series.
It's very, very cool. Would definitely.
I'm going to have to sign up. I didn't even know you had a newsletter, so I'm going to sign up.
I'm really bad at marketing myself, so yeah.
Oh, I understand that completely. I'm also the same.
It's fine. We are here to do it for you right now.
Exactly. You're doing it right now.
So much.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jona, and helping us to complete this quest. I definitely learned a lot. I'm sure our listeners did too. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yay! Okay, everyone, thanks for joining us on this quest. If you enjoy these episodes, please do like, subscribe, and follow wherever you get your podcasts because it really helps to support the show and the APN overall. If you're interested in hearing more about archaeology and archaeology content, make sure to check out the other shows in the Archaeology Podcast Network. If you have any episode ideas or you just want to get in touch, you can find all of our contact information as well as links and further information on what we discussed today in the show notes.
So, Ash, it's time to get your glad rags on.
What? Why?
Because we have a party to get to.
Oh, no.
The Archaeology Podcast Network is 10 years old this year. Our executive producer is Ashley Airy, our social media coordinator is Matilda Siebrecht, and our chief editor is Rachel Roden. The Archaeology Podcast Network was co-founded by Chris Webster and Tristan Boyle in 2014 and is part of Cultural Media and DigTech LLC.
This has been a presentation of the Archaeology Podcast Network. Visit us on the web for show notes and other podcasts at www.archpodnet.com. Contact us at chris@archaeologypodcastnetwork.com.